Are you living the Delaware Beach lifestyle? You can't live at the beach and do nothing. This up-and-coming year-round area has lots to offer. Find out where to eat, play, and serve. Living the ultimate dream.
Okay, welcome to the 302 Lifestyle Beach Podcast. We got Carlos with Urban Float, and this guy is just so amazing. We have been chatting it up a little bit, and he's done everything from a cool surfer dude, winning all kinds of competitions back in the day, to going out on Geek Central with technology and software companies, and he was in sales and was with GoPro for a little bit. He's also, if you guys are into Pearl Jam, he's in with Tom Arquino, a podcast called, well, you'll say it properly, but it's the Pearl Jam podcast. And in the midst of all that, him and Amy have really taken on, Amy's more of the mindfulness gal, I believe, but between these two creative people, they have gone into an endeavor launching this place called Urban Float. And Daisy and I have recently got involved with this, and it has really given me a break from the craziness. We have businesses and other stuff going on in our lives. And even in our marriage, it's given us an opportunity to kind of take a break on life, really stop and just kind of really focus on myself and herself. And it changed our life so much, well, mine especially, that I had to have this guy on. It's so awesome. If you guys haven't checked it out, Urban Float. But Carlos, enough of me rambling on. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into this place called Urban Float.
Sure. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate you and Daisy very much. Yeah, I'm Carlos Casas. I am the franchise developer for Urban Float in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware. We are a flotation therapy clinic center that focuses and helps people with treatment for physical and mental health, I would say. We have 6 private rooms with private showers. All of our specialists that work there are trained in helping folks have an amazing float. Hopefully, just it's daunting to think that you would be by yourself for up to an hour, right, in this private room, and you're naked in this big white pod with 10 inches of water. Every pod has 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts. And by the way, can you guys hear me okay? I didn't think about putting a headset on. Is that all right?
Yeah, we hear you good. We're good.
Okay. So I completely didn't think about ahead of it. But yeah, so.
Sorry, guys. We just took a little break. We had to fix some lighting issues. But Carlos, yes, keep talking about being in the dome and people being scared of that.
Right. So every pod has 10 inches of water, 200 gallons of water, and they're filled with 1,200 pounds of Epsom salts, which is magnesium sulfate. And magnesium is a nutrient that most people lack in their system. And in Urban Float, you get an opportunity to absorb naturally the nutrient of magnesium, which helps us deal with, helps us manage pain, helps us manage stress, helps improve your sleep. That helps you helps you relax and manage stress and anxiety, perhaps. People come to Urban Float for different reasons. Some people come and they're athletes, or they work out a lot, and they use it to recover, because magnesium accelerates the recovery process, especially for really, really active people like marathon runners and trainers and bodybuilders. Floating has become more mainstream in the last 5 years because of professional sports. And I would also say Joe Rogan. I don't know if you guys listen to Joe Rogan at all, but
yep.
Joe Rogan has a float pod in his studio, and he talks about all the experience that he has in float tanks, and he absolutely loves it. He's one of the pioneers in kind of bringing it to the mainstream. Steph Curry from the Golden State Warriors floats. A lot of folks we have a partnership with the Seattle Seahawks, and those guys float in Seattle at our float center. Tom Brady has a float pod in his house. So floating has been a huge part in a lot of professional and Olympic athletes' lives from an overall recovery and wellness perspective. And now it's kind of penetrating into the mainstream alongside with massage and acupuncture and chiropractic care, kind of alternative medicine. So we're really excited to bring it to the area and really see what the Mid-Atlantic region, Delaware, thinks of it. We have clients pretty much all over the tri-state area, the Eastern Shore area, including like North Wilmington, Maryland, DC, even some folks who've come from Virginia to check us out. But yeah, it's been great so far. The reception's been amazing. People feel great. As I was saying, our specialists are kind of the key component in the whole experience. They work with you, Dylan, and Daisy. They take folks through the whole process, beginning to end, to help kind of answer questions and maybe lessen that circle of fear of being by yourself and managing that. Because being by yourself and managing not having stimulation with your phone or with other people or your schedule or whatever, can be a daunting task. So we do our best to help people prepare for that experience. And it takes a few floats to kind of figure that out. It takes, I would say 3 to 5 floats to really understand what works for you. Or some people like the lights on and the lid open. Some people like it pitch black and full sensory deprivation, which is what this is. It's sensory deprivation. Each room is soundproof to I would say 90% soundproof. I won't say it's 100%. But with the experience inside the float pod, you can literally feel nothing. I mean, I think you would agree with that, right, Dylan? Like if you're still, you feel nothing, right?
Yeah, in my experience, same thing. So this will be float 5 coming up.
Yeah, all right.
And yeah, it took the first 2 really to kind of, get used to it.
Right.
I just let go, and then, my third one was really the one where I was able to like really immerse myself in it. And I'm all about the full sensory, taking away everything, just floating in space and meditative state. I think Daisy had the lid open.
Yeah, right? I floated for the first time on Tuesday, and I was a little, nervous about it. I actually gave him the gift card for him to use 6 months ago.
Yeah.
And he started doing it, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to do it. I'm scared, all that stuff. And I forgive me, I forgot her name, but she was so kind when she
Heather
showed me around. And for the first maybe 15 minutes, I had the pod open.
Sure.
And then I was like, I think I can close it. So I shut it. And, I felt good. I thought
she doesn't swim, by the way.
Swim, right?
And so she was worried about that, but it's super easy.
But I felt good, going in there, and it was great. And, I wanted to add too, I actually decided to do that because the day that you saw me, a day before that, I was at I was getting a massage because I had this sting on my neck, and it still, it was still there. So right after the float, the next day, yesterday, I realized that it was gone. Like whatever that thing was that I had in my neck for months. I think it was a month or 2. I've been, doing this.
That's awesome.
Gone. So, I don't know. I guess it works, right? So it was great.
So, Carlos, I didn't know what you were going to keep going about, but just a side note, you mentioned about the magnesium. You said most people have a deprivation of that. What is that a little bit? I kind of questioned.
Yeah, so magnesium has been the new prescription for a lot of doctors. And a lot of doctors will prescribe magnesium to patients who just lack the nutrient, and who have trouble sleeping or have a lot of pain. Magnesium is anti-inflammatory. So what Daisy experienced could be certainly massage for sure. but the magnesium and also the decompression of your back in a weightless environment. So imagine the way we're sitting right now, and all the compression from our heads to our shoulders to our back, the way we're sitting, our spinal cord takes a beating, so imagine, 1 hour or 2 hours a week out of 168 hours. What is that? 24 times 7, it's 168 hours, we're something with our back is being stimulated, right? So you have an opportunity in urban float to really decompress. You actually get a little taller in the float tank because you're in anti-gravity. A lot of people experience like back cracks, like natural cracks and stuff, just because their spinal cord's really adjusting, right? So, and it feels amazing. So, but the magnesium sulfate, which is what Epsom salt is what you're taking in through your skin. And not only that, it's amazing for your skin, especially right now when it's so dry outside with the winter. It makes your hair soft. So from a skin and health and beauty perspective, people who float often usually they call it a float glow. The skin is kind of glowing and it's soft and it's not as dry. But yeah, it's really good. And magnesium is a nutrient right now that a lot of physicians are prescribing, and taking and helping folks. And so a lot of that, we do see a lot of people come in with, oh yeah, my doctor prescribed me magnesium, or I take a magnesium supplement, or I scoop a couple of tablespoons in my bath at night of Epsom salts. And then they get then they realize wow, this is 1,200 pounds of it, and I'm floating to the top like the Dead Sea, right? This has got more concentration of salt than the Dead Sea, So it can be profound.
So Carlos, I was just kind of experimenting when I was landing there. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try to force my arms down, and I'm like, and it's so funny, it's so buoyant that you literally you can't keep it down. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really, really buoyant. I think we can float people up to 325, 350 pounds.
Wow.
The tank itself is 8.5 feet long and 5.5 feet wide. So I think, Daisy, you're under 5'5". So you can actually rotate around. We have one of the largest tanks in the industry. It's from the manufacturer Dream Pod, and it's called the VMAX. And float centers around the country will actually float 2 people in them.
Yeah, we're talking about that with one of your reps, and I was like, "No, you're not getting in my pod, man."
Yeah, we don't do that at Urban Float. It's our policy, but believe me, people have asked, and they open up the lid. They're like, "Oh my gosh, this thing is huge. Can I float with my wife in here?" I'm like, "No, can't do that. Sorry."
That's weird.
So,
that's funny.
Carlos, so we get a lot of people moving to the area, and they may be watching and trying to discover new things to try out. And not only the health benefits that you're talking about, but also the the mindset and the mindfulness of just separating yourself from all these sensory things. So if someone just starting out and interested in this, but they're kind of scared, like Daisy was a little scared a little bit, or they're worried about maybe being overage, or all those types of things. What are your thoughts on some of the fears that people may have to try this out?
That's a great question. I would say I would go in with no expectation, and I would go in with no assumptions into float therapy. I would really boil it down to it's just water and salt, and that's really it. The fear a lot of times is based in the fact that you're in a foreign room with people that you don't know outside the room, and it's just a foreign area. It's not so much about the water. Really, it's really about, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that how you guys felt the first couple of times. So, but kind of getting over that initial hump that I'm going to be naked in this room that's 50 feet from Route 1, and
for all fairness, I wore boxers my first 2 times.
And that's okay too.
I wasn't ready for the fool.
Yeah, there's people who float with their swimsuit on. Not many, I would say. It doesn't happen very often, but you'll quickly realize you're not going to be as comfortable as when you're in your birthday suit.
It was itching me and stuff. It was
it gets cold. It gets crusty. It's I wouldn't recommend it honestly, but the fear is really based around that, and then And then really, if you go in with no expectation, listen to what the specialists are saying. And the key word is like permission, allowing yourself to kind of coexist with your thoughts and feelings, and just kind of being a part of the environment versus judging the environment and trying to look for something to judge, right? Versus coexisting with the environment, being there with your mind and body, and focusing on yourself and remaining present at the same time of letting go of time. So those are all skills that actually happen. Relaxation is actually a skill. So you develop that skill the more you do it, and people, and again, it's not for everybody. And some people are very happy. I know of a bunch that are very happy being like, I'm on the go. It's how I am. I'm just on the go, and I like to be on the go, and that's okay. I'm not, I would love for you to try to relax, but that's not how they want. That's not how they enjoy it. Some people don't like to relax, right? And I'm sure people who just don't like to relax. They just want to be doing something all the time. My wife would like to sleep 24 hours a day if she could, or be at a massage table every other day. Like, who wouldn't want that, right? So it's not for everybody in that sense, but if people really want to explore their mind and their body and see what becomes, what opportunities open as a result of floating and allowing yourself to let go, or giving that permission to yourself to let go, and that it's going to be safe and okay, it can actually unlock a lot of things. Scientifically, the prefrontal cortex and your amygdala, there's a lot of science behind what floating does in those areas of the brain to unlock creativity and problem solving. A lot of creative people, artists, salespeople will use floating to help unlock things and help problem solve. It's pretty profound if you have the right approach. But to your point, to your question, the fear is just like, it's around not knowing what's going to happen, right? Just like with anything else. If you've never ridden a bike, you're going to fear falling on your bike, right? So, but if you have a good instructor who can teach you how to ride that bike, or a good teacher who's going to teach you how to swim, Daisy, you'll be able to learn how to do all those things, right? With confidence.
Man, that sounds so relaxing. So my biggest challenge was actually stopping my thoughts. So not just stopping, but not judging them either, and just kind of like, I think you're right. It's beginning to get easier and easier. Like I'm spending more time allowing myself to just be comfortable with no thought and just kind of truly detaching. It's almost like my brain is addicted to thinking so much,
Correct. We're in an overstimulated world right now with social media, our phones, multitasking, businesses, podcasts. We're just in a heavily stimulated culture, right? And what we're telling clients is, if you're coming to Urban Float, this is your 1 hour of the week for you to turn your phone off, leave it in your car, and start that process when you walk into the float center.
Daisy has to step out for just a second, guys, if anybody's watching this. Wow, so that's great, man. So if you guys haven't tried Urban Float, or you're interested in it, just to plug this in here, you guys can reach out on the website at urbanfloat.com in Rehoboth. Right. And on Facebook, you guys are all on there. So we'll put the plugins down below. And so we got the Urban Float. You guys are here, and you're in the 302 area. Can you dive into a little bit of, Carlos, and about your experience being in 302 and how, what kind of favorite things do you have to do? Because we got a lot of people moving down here that don't know the area. They don't know where to go. So hearing it from a local business owner, what kind of stuff do you guys like to do?
So we've been in Sussex County for, 13 years now. We're originally from northern Delaware, and then we most recently moved in 2000. From 2000 to 2007, we lived in the Philadelphia suburbs. What we love down here, the state parks are amazing. I think one of the best in the country, quite honestly. I think Cape Henlopen State Park is one of the most visited state parks in the country. Mid-Atlantic, right? We're in the Eastern Shore, so if food's a big thing, if you're a foodie, you have to have blue crab in the summertime. A lot of great restaurants like the Sodell, and the Sodell network of restaurants, the Big Fish network of restaurants, really good restaurants, even local independent shops like Mr. P's and Touch of Italy has a few shops. I mean,
Breakfast Guru.
Yeah, Breakfast Guru, right, Breakfast Guru, and Crystal Restaurant. There's a lot of good restaurants in the area. I think if you're into that, I also think the beaches. The beaches are amazing. I think in southern Delaware, they're just, to me, they're very unique, and it's one of the most. I think it's one of the most popular vacation resort areas along the East Coast. Yeah. I understand, one of the most visited areas. So I think there's a lot of things you can do here at the beach. I think in the wintertime, it's a little slower for a lot of people who live here all year round, but there's still not a lack of activity. I mean, you can still do a lot of things outside on warmer days, and there's beautiful trails. So yeah, I think there's something for everybody in 302, really. It's really a secret spot, I believe, in the Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I think I see people moving here, and then over the course of a couple years of being here, they kind of migrate towards their favorite spots, or they get kind of in a habit or routine of their lives, and they kind of just keep going to the same places. They drive past all these places, like on Rehoboth Avenue or Highway 1 and all these places. And you see all these shops, but you're in such a routine of your life that sometimes you don't want to stop in somewhere because you're not sure what it is or something like that. So, yeah, this is great. I just want to encourage people. This is one of the highest traffic beaches in the northern East Coast. So what a better way to experience life and check out new places. And cool. Carlos, so what is one of your biggest mistakes in being in business at 302?
Biggest mistakes. So, gosh, I would do a lot of things differently, I think, from an urban flow perspective. We underestimated the boom that we had in 2019. We were floating almost 60 people a day.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy. So, I think going back, if I had to go back in time, I would have slowed that roll. I think I was a little excited about how quick the community gave us a try. As a new business, a new startup, there's a lot of things that we do a lot better now than we did back then. And we would love to have another opportunity for a lot of people who tried us out in 2019 to come back and kind of see how we do things today. I wasn't expecting such an influx of people converging on the float center, on urban floats so fast, and we were on our heels kind of, and I wasn't ready for the onslaught. And I think in looking back, hindsight 2020, I would have definitely filtered a bit more and took more of a medium pace at it, and not get so excited on the fact that everybody and their mom was trying, and their dad and their brother and their uncle were just coming in. We're just so curious. So I feel like in a lot of ways we didn't capitalize properly on the first year of that excitement, and as a result, it may have created some not so desirable first impressions. Even though our reviews online are all really, really good, we don't have very many, if not low or bad reviews. I don't think we have. I think it's like less than 1%. But still, being a perfectionist, the way we're running the float center now compared to the way we're running it back then is completely different. We're definitely much more in tune with what the base and the demographic is looking for, and we're doing a much better job today. So, yeah, that was the biggest surprise, and the biggest mistake was to, I would say, not accept all that demand and take it all at once, rather filter it a little bit more, I would say.
Oh, that makes sense. And it's nice seeing someone that sees something like that, like a lot of quantity or something, but in hindsight, or looking at in things in a bird's eye view, you can kind of see, okay, I really want to spend more time with quality and making sure these people, because my experience was when I came in, I wasn't sure about everything, but I wanted to rush and like, oh no, I got it, I'll figure it out. I just wanted to kind of rush through and just kind of do it myself. And oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now, but he was like, well, hold on, I want to make sure you get the right experience and what's everything is. And it was really nice having somebody kind of say, no, I want you to have a really good experience. Let's walk you through everything. Let's kind of show you what to do, what to expect, and how to make this the best experience rather than just rush through and, get it out of the way.
That's right. That's right. And I would say in 2019, because we were floating so many people, Dylan, like it was just a madhouse in there. It was like a clinic of just revolving door, and we didn't get to spend a lot of time with clients like the way we're doing it today. Mm-hmm. A lot of people just wanted to cannonball into their pod, see what it was like, and get out. And yep. Really, that's not really what we really wanted out of the business. We really wanted to connect, and we really wanted to give that full mindful experience, which we're doing now. 2020, it forced us to slow down. Yeah. It definitely did, and it allowed me and our manager to reflect on it a little bit more. And I think hopefully in 2021, with all the stars aligned and our fingers crossed, we'll have a better year and have a really good approach to it all. And if the people from 2019 want to come back in and give us a different look with a different set of eyes, we would be excited for that.
Yeah, kudos to you, because that just defines a good leader too. Somebody that can look back at something that a lot of people saw as negative or a bad thing, but to hear someone, even us too, we kind of took a step back, but I think it allowed us to kind of see some things that we can improve, and we're doing the same thing, spending more time with customer on customer, like one-on-one relationships, and awesome, man. So we're going to dive into lightning round here, but I just wanted to dive into one more question here. So you work and live and you have a family here in the 302, and we get a lot of people moving here in similar situations. So what kind of advice would you give to a couple living and working in the 302 and having a son and all that stuff?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one. I mean, I think, living at the beach has its great obviously benefits of the atmosphere and the culture here. I think it's pretty simple. I think if you're a business owner, network and meet other business owners like Dylan and myself and other people. Join your local chambers and get involved in the community. It's a small community, so. Word gets around really, really fast around here. If you're working, continue to work hard, and find time to do things that you can enjoy and take advantage of the amenities of this area that could be provided here. And if you have kids, the schools down here are really good. I feel the private schools are really, really good from what I hear. My kids are in the public school area in the school district. Amy and I really have no complaints on that side of the fence. Our kids love living down here. They don't really complain about living. How can you complain about living at the beach? My son and I both surf. We love the outside. We love the outdoors. There's plenty of things to do. We don't miss the big city and the big city traffic and the big suburb traffic that we came from. Are you guys from this area originally? Did you guys come from Maryland?
We actually moved here from Vegas, believe it or not.
So no way.
We thought, what did we do? Like, we thought it was a big mistake.
Are you serious? What brought you out here?
Cool. My family moved to Lewis, and we came out to visit, and we were like, oh my gosh, the cost of living here compared to California Beach is like night and day. So we were like, I think we could do this. And
when did that happen?
It's like 2008-ish through 2011. The market crashed. We were both in the mortgage and real estate industry. And it was time for a move. We came out here and I love it now.
Wow. Are you a native of Vegas?
No. I'm from the countryside in Pennsylvania.
Oh,
I lived out there for 5 years, but Daisy grew up in California and Vegas, so that's where she's from. But
oh, okay, okay, all right. So wow. So my dad, who had passed last year, he was living in Vegas in Henderson, or not
yeah,
Henderson. He was south of the Strip. He did live in Henderson, but he was actually in Vegas, the proper. But my dad retired out there because there's a ton of Filipinos out there. I'm Filipino. I don't know if you've noticed.
Daisy's Filipino. Yep.
Is Daisy Filipino?
Yeah, she's
Oh,
Filipino.
I had no idea. I mean, I had a hunch,
Yeah.
but I wasn't 100% sure. I never knew that.
They
Okay.
either think she's Filipino or Mexican. So
Yeah, that's cool.
we actually went to the Philippines 2 years ago now.
Oh, wow. I haven't been since 1998. It's
For
been
a
a
whole
long
month we were
time.
out there. Went all the way up north and went all the way down south. Beautiful country. I love it.
Yeah, California and Vegas, man. Two Filipino hotspots, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I was out when I visited my father. There was a lot of conventions out there, and I would visit my dad, and I'm like, wow, they're everywhere. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I'll say in the Philippines, I was really tall. I loved
yes,
it.
you were. Yeah. Yeah, I'm 5'10". I was like, I was like, man, I'm a giant around here.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny.
So,
All right, man. Lightning round. So, and just to plug in one more time, guys, if you're trying to get involved with Carlos's world of Urban Float, check out all the links below. And just to mention, go ahead and like and subscribe. I actually had a teacher on from Delaware. So if you guys are interested in any of that stuff, we've got some cool people we're meeting here. And okay, Carlos, best book, tool, or software, and why is this so great?
best, like one of each or just one? Just one.
Just one really big one that was a good life changer for you.
I would say The E-Myth by Michael Gerber is a great book.
Ooh.
It's a great small business book. He really talks about business development in a way that I think is very consumable and that new business owners can absorb. So I recommend his book. It's The E-Myth. When I was doing business coaching and business development for businesses around here, that's the first thing I would do is I would send them The E-Myth. And then we would spend our sessions talking about The E-Myth by Michael Gerber. It's a quick read. It's not even that thick. It's like that thick. And he's a really...
just for anybody not watching, that was a 2 inches that he just held up. That's pretty thick to me.
Is it? Yeah, maybe like that. I got to find my copy. So I've read it twice because I need the reminders of the difference between working in your business and working on your business. And that's kind of the key concepts. And if I had to pick one thing that was like off the top of my head, the book, that book was a life changer for me for business. I think in 2008 to 2010, I was like runner up to Small Business of the Year in Delaware in my software company. And just the way I managed and grew that business, and I used a lot of his concepts and a lot of the nice local SBA help that was available to all of us in Sussex County, the Small Business Development Center and stuff. So I recommend that book. Software tools, I can go on for days on that.
Yeah, I've got 100 that we use. Oh my gosh. All good stuff, man. I wrote that down. That's a great one. And if any business owners are listening, definitely the SBA. We actually got in Jim actually with oh my heavens, I can't the business coaching tools that is free for businesses. Score.
Yeah, Score. Yeah. In the Small Business Development Center in Georgetown, they're also part of Score. I used them early on in the early 2000s when I had my software company. They were fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff. Cool, man. And what's the biggest myth business owners need to know the truth about?
The biggest myth that business owners need to, I would say that I think the biggest myth is that maybe new business owners think that they're the boss, and really they work for their employees is how I look at it. They work for a good boss, really tries to enable and activate their employees for maximum production and be there and support them. Hold them accountable, but a great manager, a great boss, a great supervisor is one that really are partners with their employees in a way that is not necessarily the drop the hammer kind of mentality. I think a good business owner will treat their company as if they work for their company, at the same time develop it. And I think the biggest thing is relationships. I think relationships are the paramount to business success. Employee relationships and external relationships, client relationships.
Man, yeah, we were just listening to a podcast about how good leaders, they're not trying to micromanage and stuff like that, but instead they take more of a relationship point of view to allow people to succeed on their own. And just by stepping back and talking to people instead of talking to people as
that's right.
Peer. It's a partnership.
Yeah. Partnership here. I think you really want to, especially in this day and age where there's a lot of hypersensitivity around different things, and you really want to be empathetic to those and really try to understand, but activate, provide resources, hold accountable, but at the same time, really build relationships inside and outside your company, and not just because you have your own business, now you own the world and you can do all this stuff. That's really, to me, that's not how it works. It's a lot harder than that. And you quickly find out that if you don't have the right talents underneath your roof, it could make or break you. So
love it, man. Yeah, all great stuff, and definitely learn a lot from that. And it's an inside job. So what?
Inside Job, Pearl Jam. That's a good song.
Yeah, it's a great song. If you missed it in the beginning, Carlos has a what's the name of that? I wrote it down.
In Too Deep.
In Too Deep.
Yeah.
Pearl Jam podcast. Fan of you guys. I grew up in the countryside in Pennsylvania, so listened to a lot of Pearl Jam going on. I look like I'm 12, but I'm pushing 40. So I was.
Wow! Look at you, baby face.
Look at you. I'm not even telling anybody how old you are.
Well, that's why I have the long hair, to kind of disguise my age, so.
Yeah. All right, man. Here we go. What's one question I should have asked, and what's your answer?
What's one question you should have asked me, and what would be my answer?
Yes.
Huh. Oh, God. I don't even know. What's one question you should have asked?
Anything?
I would have been curious of what was it like working for GoPro?
There you go. All right.
That's one of the biggest brands in the world, right? I mean, alongside Apple and Amazon, and my answer would have been, it was an amazing ride. I traveled the world, and I rubbed elbows with celebrities, and I was on ESPN, and I was working in the Golf Channel, and I was surfing amazing spots around the world. I did it for 2 years. And then I'm out. So.
And FYI, guys, right before the show, this guy is just like, I've done a few things, but man, this guy is so humble and just so awesome. And you have done so much, Carlos. And to bring something like this to this area and just want to impact people's lives in a positive way, it's really coming out in your business and everything that you're doing around you. And kudos to you. And we're just so thankful to have you on and have you a part of our lives, and hopefully friends. And man, guys, if you're trying to live the 302 lifestyle, subscribe, like, share. If you want to be on the show or you have something to share to the community to add value, please comment or message us, and we'll be happy to have you on. Thanks, Carlos.
Thank you, Dylan. Thank you very much.
Wish you could spend more time having fun and less time with chores? Go to 302beachtalk.com to get $20 off a home cleaning. You'll be entered to win a completely free cleaning. Eat, play, serve. Sponsored by That Guy with a Broom.